Good day. We are gonna shift topic from implementing to operational readiness. And again, on the life cycle map, we can see the operational readiness stage happening in parallel to implementation. Now, it doesn't have to be exactly like this. It doesn't have to start immediately after gate 5. It could happen sometime during the implementation, so maybe later, or on some project, maybe even earlier. So this is highly sensitive, depend on the nature of the project and the work to be done. And of course, this is assume project need operation readiness. And that's what we're trying to say here. On some projects, there is no operation. So let's say you are working on a project that you are producing a document and nothing to operate after that. Then that's done. This stage will not be required. This stage and the stage after it will not be required. However, if the project is a new facility or a new product, software, system, website that has to be managed and operated, and then we need to have operation readiness. So often enough, in some rare cases, maybe the same team, especially for small in-house project, maybe the same team that doing the implementation work will be doing the operation readiness work, but in general, it's often different people and different team. So basically, this would be a team that could be outsourced, that working on the implementation, and another team working operation readiness. And again, in certain industries, the stage could last many months before and after handover. And the word handover here we are using to represent the point in time when the team that is doing implementation work will hand over the product that they have completed to the operation people, all the end users. And usually, at the end of the stage, we will have initial acceptance. And notice we have initial acceptance, and later on we'll talk about the final acceptance. So what is the implementation versus operation? Let's just quick comparison here between the two. Implementation is about doing the work to produce the product. So let's say we are going to build a factory for water bottles. Like we said before, I gave that example earlier. So implementation here is basically the design, engineering, and construction of the factory itself. So all the work that's required to hand over the output to the end user. So when we are finished with this facility, with this plant, with the factory, we'll have to hand it over to the business owner or the operation team. Operation readiness is the work that the operational readiness team, which are usually representative of the end user, has to finish before they can accept the product. So there will be some work that they have to do themselves. Include things like operation and maintenance procedures, training of the end users, etc. So what are some of the things that we do pre-handover? And some of the example of assuming a facility project, there would be procedure for operating the facility, training of the end user on the new system, process mapping for the new system or process, pre-commissioning of the facility equipment. And of course, we can add more and more, but the type of project is really large and we cannot cover every single thing here. Activity should start typically during the implementation stage, long before initial acceptance. I don't want to name any project, but at least I know around my word here, there has been major, huge, mega project that have been delayed in opening or finishing because the facilities were built, but the organization did not get the operation readiness work done in time to accept at handover and to be able to continue with the facilities. So project, major, mega project have been delayed because of lack of focus on the operational readiness work. So usually, if you go back to the map or the life cycle, implementation and happening, and then you have operation readiness happening in parallel. So at some point in time, we would have to have a stage gate 6. And stage gate 6 in this time basically is to indicate is all the work that was done before and to tell us whether we continue or not. Remember, every gate is about assessing the work and to make sure it's done well, and then to go ahead. In this case, we're not going to stop the project, but the go ahead in SG6 mean, and we call this gate is that the pre-handover gate, or are we ready? Maybe the word we use is, are we ready for handover? So operation people should be asking themselves, are we ready for handover? And if they are ready and the implementation team is ready, then we will conclude this pre-handover period, and then we will authorize, the end user will authorize the concept of having the handover. So we go to the next step, which is performing the actual handover activities. Now, what do we mean handover activities? This is like, inspection. If you have somebody building your house, and when they want to hand it over for you, they give you a tour to make sure you know how to operate the sprinkler system, the air conditioning system, the heating, anything else that you need to know how to do in the house. So that is the actual, we call it handover. That's the period of time. Now, in a house, that could maybe take an hour or two. On a facility or chemical plant, or it could take 2 to 3 months. So pre-handover for the operation readiness, once we are ready to accept the handover, then we go over activities, and that is the point where at the end we will produce the initial acceptance certificate. And this is where again the operation team will hand over the facility or the product of their project to the end user. And to do this, we need to make sure that the product is complete. Maybe some testing has to be done. And again, all of this has to lead to the initial acceptance of the project output. And that is stage gate 7. So stage gate 7 is the confirmation from management that they have accepted the product of the project. And with this, we end the stage. Now the next stage is quite linked to this one, and you can even combine them if you wish on small project, but we have separated them, which would be called the initial operation stage. So after the initial acceptance, we have to go and start with an initial operation. Again, I don't want to explain the next stage here, so let's wait until the next stage. Have a great day.